Hi there, Chef Jess here, and today we're going to be making a celebration cake. So I'm going to be walking you through this video, how to make a celebration cake, what's important about it, and the type of cake that you want to use. I'm going to show you the pros and cons of conventional vegan techniques and show you what I've learned along the way, how to create your perfect cake for that special day. So today we're making a celebration cake, and for our celebration cake we want a cake which is a little sturdier. So we're looking to make like a basic butter based cake. So we're making a vanilla butter cake today, and it's kind of like, if you think about it, wearing the right clothing for the right occasion. So we really need to, as I said, to use a cake which is going to be stable enough to hold up our buttercream. So it's really important to wear the correct attire for the appropriate occasion. You wouldn't want to be wearing adult diapers to your wedding, would you? Now, there's actually a video that I found on YouTube about this, but you're going to have to wait until the end of this one and I'll share it with you guys. It's really funny. So let's get started making our vanilla butter cake. So we're actually going to be using a method called the reverse creaming method. And for you bakers out there, you might already know what that means. So instead of creaming our butter in sugar to begin with, we're going to add all our sifted dry ingredients to our stand mixer bowl, and then add our fat. So we're adding our margarine, and we're going to mix that together until it turns to breadcrumbs, and then we'll follow on to the next step. So we're going to mix this until it's like a breadcrumb consistency. And it's always really important that we always have all of our ingredients prepared and at room temperature. So in the world of making vegan cakes, a conventional way of replacing eggs is using things like applesauce, chia seeds, flax seeds, bananas. But the problem with this is when we make our cake, when we put it into our mouth, it's going to start disintegrating. What happens in our mouth? Well, our mouth is warm and it's wet, so it's going to turn all those things in our cake into glue in our mouth. And you'll be asking, but why is that happening? Well, because we don't have eggs, and the eggs traditionally would coagulate and set everything together and hold it together. So no, we're not just relying on the coagulation of the starches to set our cake. So let's do a little bit of a test here. So we're going to replicate what's actually happening in our mouth. So remember, our mouth is nice and warm. I've got a saucepan here over heat. We're going to be adding some water because our mouth is nice and wet, especially salivating over our beautiful celebration cake. So now I'm going to add my starch. So we're adding some starch. That's representing the starch in our cake. Now when we're chewing and we're eating our cake, it's moving around in our mouth. So we're creating like this friction. And what's actually going to start happening is it's going to get thicker and thicker. And we're going to wait a couple of minutes and I'll show you. It's going to turn into glue. Look, it's already starting to thicken up here. So this is what's happening in our mouth. No one wants to eat glue, so it's important that we choose the appropriate egg replacer. Look at that. This is what's happening in our mouth. It's turning into this glue in our mouth. So if you've eaten a vegan cake and it just sticks to the roof of your mouth, it's all stuck in there, it might taste great, but what we say is the texture is the deal maker or the deal breaker. So choose your egg replacers appropriately. Like we said, we don't want to be wearing diapers to our wedding, do we? A dress made out of diapers. In that video, you've got to watch it, it's so funny. So we've been mixing up our dry ingredients with our margarine, so let's have a look. So now we have this breadcrumb-like consistency. So what that's doing is it's coating each particle of flour with that butter or a margarine, and what that's going to do is create a really beautiful texture. So next we're going to put our wet ingredients together. So we'll have our egg replacer, our PANACEG, and if you want to know how to make the PANACEG mixture, just go into the description box below and there'll be a link there how you can place 1, 2, 3, 4, however many eggs that you like. Look, I'm going to mix that with all our other wet ingredients. And then I'm going to put this into our mixer and we're going to mix that up until it just comes together. So once everything on low has just come together, you're going to lift your bowl up, just scrape all the sides down. We're going to increase the speed and mix that for 2 minutes. So this is called the reverse creaming method because instead of incorporating air in the beginning with the traditional method, creaming our butter and sugar, we're doing it at the end here. Our batter is all whipped up and nice and fluffy. I'm just going to divide my batter into my 3 prepared cake tins and pop that in my oven to cook. So I teach a technique here at the school to make lots of noise. You got any big air bubbles in there? Just give it a quick little tap and that'll get them out for you. Okay, so we're going to put all of these in the oven now. It'll take about 30 minutes. Oh, my eyes. So I've got my 3 cakes baked. I just let them cool for about 10 minutes in the tins, and I'm just going to take those out and let them to cool completely. So we're going to let these guys cool completely, and then we're going to be filling it with some buttercream and raspberry jam. And remember, as always, everything here is 100% vegan ingredients. So I'm making a celebration cake today, and you can choose this for any type of celebration. I think this is going to be a birthday cake. And we're using a recipe to create a basic vanilla butter cake. So that's nice and stable. It can really hold up to the heaviness of the icing. And it's very important that it's extremely stable. So that's where the eggs come into play traditionally, and that's why you need a really great egg replacer to get that same function. So I use PANACEG because it's going to replace the 8 major functions of eggs, and that's going to give us an incredible texture to our cake. It's not going to fall apart when we cut it. It's going to coagulate the crumb, so we're going to get a beautiful texture in our mouth. So some of the different disadvantages of making old style celebration cakes is often we're relying on an egg replacer that's only going to replace 1 function of the 8 major functions of eggs. And what that means is we have to compromise on a lot of things. And I know on your special day, you're not going to want to compromise. So that's why we have PANACEG that's going to replace all those functions, so you get to enjoy your cake and celebrate your day. So texture in vegan cakes, what I often find is when they come out, they look beautiful. But when you put them in your mouth, that first bite, it's delicious. You take a few more bites, and what happens is it kind of turns to glue in your mouth. Have you ever eaten a vegan cake and it's stuck to the roof of your mouth or stuck into your teeth? So all you're trying to appreciate is the flavor. Unfortunately, the texture is not there, so we can't enjoy it as we do a traditional cake. So these cakes are generally hard to make for anyone, but making it vegan is even harder. Have you ever cut into a really big vegan cake to have everything stuck in your knife? Well, I'm going to show you soon. When we cut into this cake, you'll see we'll have some beautiful layers that are all going to stay together. They're not going to be sticky or gluey or crumbly. These are some macarons that I teach in my P2 course. So if you want to come and learn how, come check out all the courses that we have available. Well, interestingly enough, people who are choosing plant-based or vegan options these days, up to 80% of them are not actually vegan. They just want to try something different. So it's important when we are creating vegan cakes that we leave a lasting impression. Because if they're going to try your cake, we want them coming back for more. Because at the end of the day, we want people to eat more fruits and vegetables and eat more plant-based foods. So making this cake was important to me because I had someone out there like you who contacted me to ask how I can make a cake for my son's wedding vegan, something a little bit like this, a celebration cake, and I really wanted to let her know how to do it, and I did promise her that I would make this video. So here we have it, our finished product. We've frosted it and iced it and decorated it, so we have our celebration cake ready to cut inside, and have a look at all those layers that we made. So there we have it, guys. That's our celebration cake. We've got 3 layers of our beautiful vanilla butter cake with our buttercream and raspberry jam. Okay, so we have our celebration cake layers, our 3 layers of our vanilla butter cake. And you'll notice after I cut it, we can't see hardly any crumbs. That means that our cake is not falling apart. There was actually very little, if any, crumbs left on my knife, so we're not throwing half of our cake away. And it's really held up lovely with that buttercream. So it is very important, as we said, to pick the appropriate dress for the appropriate occasion, and it's the same for our cake too. And it's very important to pick the perfect egg replacer for your cake. So try this one at home. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below what you think about it and what you're gonna do with your celebration cake. Oh, and I forgot to mention, check out that really funny video about my friend up here who made a wedding dress out of adult diapers. Can you believe it? It looked great, but at the end of the day, she was wearing a wedding dress made out of diapers. So really funny video, guys. Go check it out. See you next time.